Recently, Michael Parubocki just increased his driver carry distance by 35 yards. But before we dive into how he did that, we want to get to know him a little bit more and who he is as a golfer. Michael, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Coach, thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it. Myself, I've been in the hospitality industry for, 25 plus years. Recently, my wife and I had a baby girl, but golf obviously still a huge passion of mine. And trying to get to play is still a super high priority for me. My journey as a golfer started out, when I was about 12 years old with my grandfather's hand-me-down clubs, and would whack balls on the range. And when I got to an age to play rounds, my buddies and I joined a junior league at a local golf course, and we just played and played and played. And from there, started to learn more about the game, and got fit into some proper clubs at the right time. And since then, I've just been working on the game. Huge passion for the game, and always looking for ways to improve and get those scores as low as we can.
That's awesome, Michael. And before you and I started working together, how would you describe your golf game at that time?
Golf game at that time, Coach, was a bit all over the place. As you know, I was playing a pretty heavy slice off the tee, coming over the top. And before you and I started working together, I didn't really know that in too much detail. I just knew I was getting missing way right off the tee. Iron game and approach shots were kind of hit and miss, no pun intended. Where I was kind of spraying all over the place, and not really able to control the shape of my shots, and obviously becoming frustrated from there as well.
And what kind of scores were you shooting on a good day, bad day?
Good day, bad day, high 80s, 88, 89 on a good day. Bad days, mid 90s. A lot of that, had to do with playing penalties off the tee, three putts as we all do, and just a lot of inconsistency in general.
Yeah. And what was your journey at that time or pathway to try to get better?
I think for a lot of golfers, it's the same. Like, you jump on YouTube and you try and look at, magazine articles and Golf Digest, and try to pick pieces where you can, and, heavily relying on somebody who didn't know my swing, didn't know my mechanics, to try and help me fix these things. And I think it's safe to say that so many golfers do that, go on YouTube, and you get kind of down this rabbit hole of instruction. And again, you're not getting real-time feedback. The videos that you're watching, nobody's really watching you and critiquing your swing or giving you real-time feedback. And that's, after, years of doing that and not getting anywhere, that's when I found you and reached out.
Yeah. And so we might as well point this out. So you're located in Toronto, Canada. I'm in
That's
Dallas,
right.
Texas. So
That's right.
obviously, we've done this whole process online remotely. Well, let's fast forward to today. When you look back at our time together online, working together, what would you say is the biggest takeaway you've had so far?
Oh, there's many, but if I could just kind of shorten it, it would be, that I no longer rely on, YouTube swing instructors. I still reference all of the material you and I worked on together. The being me submitting, swings and down the line and face on, and you marking them up, sending them back to me with real time things to work on. And from there, I would hit the range, work on those things, and again, take more footage. And that's how you and I really were able to clean a lot of things up, over our time together.
And so, as your swing changed, your mechanics changed, how did your confidence and ability to self assess on video change throughout that process?
It was tremendous. It was a tremendous jump. There's a real empowerment and a real empowering feeling of knowing where you're going wrong, knowing what to fix, and exactly how to do it. Again, when you get in a rabbit hole of YouTube, there's nobody really telling you, you could practice the things that these guys are showing you and all day, but if there's no real time instruction coming back, how do you know you're really doing it properly? And that's where I really benefited from your coaching and from your platform. It was all really easy to follow, and you were very real with your instruction and how to clean up the areas I needed to clean up.
Very good. And, recently you checked back in with me. One of my favorite things is students that work with me. They always feel connected to me. And as the same, I feel connected to you way beyond the initial 90 days that we worked together.
Yep,
And you checked in with me and updated me on the fact that you had gained 35 yards of carry distance with your driver.
that's
And
right.
there's a twofold reason to why this has happened, right? So we know that you went through some pretty significant mechanical changes, but then you
That's
also
right.
went through some equipment upgrades. So can
I
you
did. Yeah.
that?
Yeah. So for some reason, my driver was the last club in the bag to get fitted because I thought I had a great setup. Had, the shaft flex that I needed, had a, up to date, top of the line driver head setup. I thought I had the greatest setup. And it proved that I didn't. And so all the mechanical work, all the, the swing stuff that you had taught me and that I was really practicing and working on in real time, it was great, but I didn't have the right equipment to match my swing. And so recently was fitted, got a whole new setup, and it was like a light bulb had gone off. The configuration that we landed on was exactly what I needed for my swing speed, for my swing path, and just all of the settings and all the configurations that my fitter worked on with me were exactly what I needed to tighten up my dispersion and gain an extra 30 to 40 yards in carry distance alone. So it's been a game changer.
Yeah, and that's it for you guys out there watching and listening. Michael's a good player. So 30 to 40 yards is a big deal because his swing mechanics are awesome. And really, the distances just weren't aligning with his mechanics and his speed that he was putting into the golf ball. And so clearly, this is where fitting really comes into play. He upgraded his swing first, and then he went and got clubs that matched that swing. And to gain those distances, I mean, Michael, talk about what was carry distance before and now after on average.
Yeah, average carry distance before, and this is where I knew something was wrong. Where I was, putting good swings on the ball. I was, hitting the center of the face pretty consistently, and still only carrying 245, 250. Now I'm carrying well over 280, and with my drives finishing off and well over the threes consistently. And again, I think the biggest thing to take away from this is the progression and the succession of it all. Fixing up and cleaning up my swing was definitely the most important and most valuable part, which Coach Banner helped me with. And then the equipment upgrade. I think if golfers were to do it backwards, where they go get fit and then start to work on their swing mechanics and all that stuff, I think that's the wrong kind of wrong progression. So working with you, Coach, and then once my swing was in a much better place and consistent place, then going and getting the fitting done was the right way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I always talk about earning the right to upgrade your bag. And
Right.
you upgrade your swing to then earn the right to go get better clubs to fit that good swing. And that's a perfect example of what it can do. I love club fitting and I love hearing transformations like that. Obviously, that's going to be a big game changer in the long run. We know how adding carry distance off the tee is one big benefit to strokes gained, but also your dispersion went down or got tighter.
Tighten,
So
tighten up a
um,
lot. Yeah.
that's awesome. And,
Yeah.
what would you say to people out there that have never maybe experienced online coaching before and they're used to the traditional way of going to someone in person and or might be a little bit scared of like, what is online? Like,
Right.
tell
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to share as openly and as, honestly as I possibly can. When you and I first started talking, I shared this with you as well, that I was a little reluctant and I was a little, not suspicious at all, but just really curious as to how the whole process worked. And it was an investment, and definitely took some time to think about it. But I can tell you that it was absolutely the right decision. I would do it again 100 times over. I actually feel like online coaching is just as effective, or even more so than in-person coaching. Just strictly because with in-person coaching, you don't get those submitting footage with the markups and the audio to match. So to be perfectly honest, for my money and for the investment, I would go back to you, obviously, but online coaching rather than in person any day of the week.
Well, and I think, Michael, what you're pointing out is no matter if you take a golf lesson and it goes well in person, it's the touch points and the communication after that, because you're going to have
That's
to
right.
go put in the work. You're going to have to go practice. Everyone knows that if they want to make a true transformation. But the value for you in this process was being able to ask questions and get feedback on your technical changes as you put in the work.
Exactly. We everything was just so well put together and extremely timely. You were able to get back to me extremely quickly. Like if I was at a simulator in the off season or at the range, I mean, when I would submit to you, you were back to me with by the end of the business day, and that was really reassuring as well, knowing that I didn't have to wait, 2-3 days a week to get that feedback on the work that I had just put in. So that was super valuable for me.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate you sharing that because that is a very important part of the process. If you're checking in with me, I want to turn around and get fast feedback to you so you have the confidence and conviction to go into the next practice session with the right information.
Right.
Because it's very, very detail oriented and you stuck to the process, you followed it, and you benefited greatly from it. So I thank you for taking the time to share your story.
Of
Not
course.
only did you gain 35 yards off the tee, but you're also a much better golfer. And if you want to highlight that too, like who are you as a golfer today?
Much more confident just in every area of my game, and like I shared with you, Coach, like I still feel like we're very much connected, even though we stopped technically working together a while back. I still feel very connected because anytime I get into a rut, anytime I get into a position where I'm not striking the ball as well as I want to, or around the greens, I'm a little bit heavy-handed or rough around the greens. I just quickly revert back to all our work together and all of the markups and all of the coaching that you gave me. So I still feel like we're super dialed in, and that's also the benefit of online coaching. It's this material and this instruction is now mine. I would never even consider going on YouTube and looking at instructional videos. I've got your personal instruction in my pocket at all times. And again, I'm a huge advocate for you and your program, and it's helped me immensely. A lot more confident on the golf course, and even like I said, even when I do get stuck, I just revert back to the stuff we worked on.
That's awesome. Yeah, you have
Yeah,
lifetime access to it, and it's your customized game plan that progressed with you. So there's no better replacement than just going back to what worked before and keeping you calibrated for years to come. So, Michael,
exactly.
again, thank you for your time, and thank you for those who followed today. All right.
Yeah, you bet, Coach. Thanks again.